Hi everyone, welcome to this edition of Addington News. Something a little bit different this week. Darrin Williams is having some well-earned rest and he's on leave, and his daughter Emma, who's part of the marketing and sponsorship team, has joined us. Emma, I know this is not your go in life, so I do appreciate you being part of it, but we thought we might as well give a bit of a background as to what you're up to. Normally we talk about happenings at Addington Raceway, but you are a happening thing. You're a big part of the new sponsorship drive, and tell us what else you're up to, because I know you're studying at university as well.
Yep, so I'm doing a Bachelor of Science. I'm in my second year this year. I do psychology and developmental education papers, so it's very full on, but I really love it, so it's great.
And you also love the racing industry. Not that you had much of a choice, because, of course, your mum, Kylie, has been with the integrity unit for a number of years. And I suppose as a toddler, you were dragged along to the odd race meeting, whether you wanted to go or not.
Yep, definitely was.
Yeah, but you do love the racing. You know a lot of the people in it, which is certainly aiding Addington Raceway. So looking forward to your involvement. Included in that is a number of race meetings sponsored by our trainers over the winter months. So you can look out for some info on that. But we thought we'd get into a full race meeting preview, and you're filling your dad's seat, and you're going to do it admirably, I'm sure.
I hope so. So our first race is the IRT Your Horse, Our Passion Mobile Pace at the 1980. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, it's a good race. Really good race to start the night, Emma. Anything Goes was excellent, I thought, first up. Definitely in need of the run, but had a hard run to boot, coming around them three wide. Never really gave it away. That was in the race won by race rival Angel of Montana, but the mobile's of huge assist here. So I think Anything Goes will be the one to beat. Glorious Delight gets off the machine quickly. I expect her to go forward, trained by Tony Barron. He's an excellent strike rate. Tim Williams is back from Sydney to drive her. Dancing Desire was excellent behind Giselle 2 weeks ago. Wouldn't need to lift much off that performance to be competitive. And Tack McLeod's off the second row has done very little wrong in 3 starts today, winning the first 2, of course, and narrowly beaten last week by Kikarangi Blue. And then you've got Angel of Montana, who was first up for Bob Butt last time, and you wouldn't want to count it out. It's a really good start. Sporty Charlie's there. Happy Places, good enough. Jimmy James Maguire is too. So it's a tricky first race to get underway with, but we'll settle on Anything Goes, and he can get back in the winning circle, I think, this week.
Perfect. So race number 2 is the Concrete Brothers Trot for the 2,000 metres.
Yeah, a tricky standing start affair. Brian Rabbit often does this to us on a race day, particularly a first leg of a quaddie, and this is the early quaddie. I thought Bevron would be hard to beat. Very good last time. Son of Imperial Count, trained and driven by Robbie Holmes. Didn't get beat far at Rangiora behind the Highlander horse, Holly Highlander, who I think, again, wouldn't need to lift much to win this race, and is definitely on the improve. Lovey Dovey Nova has got the breeding to be a handy enough horse, being by Love You out of Jeff Wheeler's breed. He trains. Terry Schmiel, 2 runs today. A lot to like about both of those. I gave Downtown Orlando a chance for Amber Letherby. Ray Jenkins doing the steering, her dad, of course. And the other one I gave a chance was Lucky Way out of the same barn, and Amber's doing the driving of this one. I think what it's done in recent times suggests there's a maiden win there too. Tricky first leg of the quad. You'll need a few, but 3, 5, 13 and 4, and there are a multitude of chances outside of those too.
So our third race is the Woodland Stud Good Luck to Our Buyers Mobile Pace at the 2,600 metre mark.
Yep, they go behind the mobile here, and Woodlands, of course, had a big part to play in the yearling sales, New Zealand bloodstock yearling sales at Karaka, and they really do want their buyers to have all the best of luck with the purchases. So they're behind this race. Franco Cornell to continue the run for Robert and Jenna Dunn. John doing the steering. Excellent second here a couple of weeks ago. That was in behind Topaz. Just got beaten on that occasion. Booming late finish from Topaz, and then second behind Hey Tonight at Ashburton. So in good form from a handy barrier draw. Should be the hardest to beat. Gave a chance to Boarding Call. Racing well for Matthew Williamson. Was good here last week. When placed in behind Ellie Sticks. That was a bit of an upset race, that one. Better With Bling is the best upset chance of the night. Just had no luck in recent times. It's the sort of horse that it seems to be unlucky all of the time, but one of these days the breaks are going to come its way, and it may very well be on Thursday night. And Ruby's at the Light's been placed second in 3 of the last 5 starts, so I wouldn't discount her chances. But I'll go 1, 11, 5 and 3, but the best roughie of the night is Better with Bling.
And our race number 4, the Hydroflow Plumbing Solutions Mobile Pace at the 2,600 metre mark. What do we think of this one?
Yeah, great supporters, Hydroflow, and of course through Ken and Karen Brecken and their Brecken Farms brand, and this is their business, I suppose, that pays for the horses in many respects. So it's good to have them associated with race number 4. Adesanya, named after Israel, the UFC fighter, of course, and showed good tenacity last time, first up for the Duns. Wouldn't need to lift much off that, so I think it'll be really hard to beat. A lot of money for Mickey Bennett, the Always Be Mickey 3-year-old, which is trained by the Telfers and Hayden Cullen. Tim Williams do the driving, got it wrong last time. I know there's ability there. The punters obviously thought so, backed it into favourite in the race won by God of Thunder last week. So you have to respect it. If it gets things right, it'll take some catching. Mapua Missy, Ricky May, Brendan Hill, wonderful combination over a long period of time, and hit the beaches racing well. So 8, 2, 5 and 6, but a decent sort of a maiden race, that.
So race number 5 is the Air Park Canterbury Handicap Trot, the 2,600 metre mark.
Yep, if you're travelling anywhere, and particularly if you're going overseas, Air Park Canterbury are the place to go. If you want to park your car, the team will look after you there for sure. Comoran Strikes a trotter that's done very little wrong in a 10-start career thus far, and I thought its last 2 performances suggest there's another win pretty close at hand. Finished second and behind Trot to Chevron, and then behind Royd and Muscle last time. So, yeah, I'm expecting even off 10 metres it to be pretty hard to beat here. To beat Almighty Fair, who's racing well, Gavin Smith and John Dunn combined. Wouldn't need to lift much off that second behind Ideal Stewartia at Ashburton last time. Light of the Moon gets into this race nicely. Robbie Holmes trains the nearby one over the moon. He's won 4 of 21, so he's got a pretty good strike rate. And I'm just thinking his last few starts, he's been hinting at getting back to something like that best form. And Jordan Ann's racing great for Matthew Williamson, so is always a chance. 12, 14, 11, 5.
So then we have number 6, the Alabar Free For All at the 2,600 metre mark.
Yeah, look, there's 6 horses going around in this, and you could argue or make a case for each and every one of them, Emma. I settled on one change. He didn't get any favours last time, but his prior run behind Mighty Louis in a similar type of race, and it's even better for him this time because this is a mobile. He's had to start off the 30 metres on that occasion. He'll take some beating in this, I reckon, one change. And I wouldn't be surprised if Blair Orange lights him up nice and early. So I'll go for him on top of Mighty Louis, who's just been in this rich vein of form that should continue. Henry Hubert from the same Dunn stable, always a chance. And then you've got Coravelli Star, Laver and Homebush Lad, who none of them you could count out. I ended up going for Coravelli Star by virtue of him winning his last 2. But I'll go 6, 4, 5, 2. I'm hoping Labour can get back to something like his best, but he probably needs to lift just another cog. So, yeah, I reckon one change is a pretty good bet on Thursday night.
So race number 7 is the New Zealand Bloodstock Air Freight Mobile Pace at the 1980.
Yeah, pretty keen on Life's a Beach in this. I reckon you might drop under the radar a little bit. It comes out of Group 1 last time, which was in behind Cully's Delight, and we've already seen that form well and truly to the fore. She's really suited to the 1980. She has good early speed. I reckon John Morrison will be positive. If he is and she finds the top, she'll be in this for a very, very long way. Lumen Shaley has Blair Orange, part of the combo that you're going to see a fair bit more of. Mark, Nathan Purdon and Blair Orange. So from a handy draw, he's been starting in standing start races. I think the mobile will suit. The short course definitely will. His record both at Addington and over the distance suggests that. Good chance to Beach Ball. Max Hill takes the drive. Of course, it went around in the Derby last time. He's trialled. He goes well fresh. You won't want to count him out. And the Falcon was a winner fresh up. Hasn't quite been at that level since, but it's been galloping and it galloped last time. So, forgive it that. Back to the mobile. Big sort of chance in the race. That's leaving out Heisenberg. I'm just not sure where he's going to get to in the run. Would certainly be in the back half of the field, one would think. 6, 5, 9 and 7.
So number 8 is the Paul Renwick Joinery Handicap Trot at the 2,600 metre mark.
one of the longer standing sponsors here at Addington Raceway, and his sign's been on the back straight about the 400 metre mark there for probably 35 years, so for a very long time. Good to have them with race number 8. Time Up the Hill was as good as I've seen her in a very long time, way back probably to her 3-year-old days. Gee, she was good. She absolutely trounced them, ran away and hid, beat race rival the Bloss. The standing start held no fear on that occasion. Don't think it will either here. Off 30 metres, back there with Eurocash. Sue Princess is in front of them off 20, racing really well. Then you got the likes of Heston Hall, the Bloss, who's so consistent, it'll probably be in front after a couple of 100 metres again. But it's a good race. I'll go 9, 6, 10 and 8. But if the same Time Up the Hill that turned up and won last week turns up this week, Emma, I think she'll win again.
So race number 9 is the Fahey Fence High Mobile Pace.
Yeah, and they really help us out, particularly at cup time, of course, with all their fencing, rather. And, of course, if you want anything in that regard, go to Fahey Fence High, just Google them and you'll find them and utilise their services. This is a tricky race, really, really difficult race. A 35 to 39. I've always been a bit of a fan of this Ferns Goldie. I know the last two haven't been as good as her prior couple, but she finished second in 2 out of the prior 3. But she just hasn't had all favours. Now, she draws the outside here, but, gee, she's in the right race. Yeah, I'm going to have something each way on her anyway. Better Fly, speaking of horses in the right race, a winner of a handful of races, rather, who gets into this beautifully. Not going to count her out, not going to count Take My Breath Away, who's won 6 races either. But it is tricky, and Sports Babe is more than capable at this sort of level. These horses are in this race for a reason, Emmett. They're racing about this level at the moment, so it's a good $11,000 stake for them. The one that you might want to watch the toe is Major Dolmio, formerly with Lyndon Bond, now with Johnny Cox. Yeah, I'd consider it some sort of chance too. But I'll go 9, 5, 4, 11 with a caveat. If there's money for Major Dolmio, you've got to have it in your late quaddie.
So our last race of the night, race 10, is our first Direct Taxis Mobile Pace at the 1980. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, and of course, they're generally the name associated with our last race on the program. If you're here and you're having a couple of ales and you think, right, I need to get a taxi home, then First Direct, and we've got the buttons where you just press it and they turn up. It's a great way to end your night safely. Brando has got to be a big chance in this. Won first up at Nelson, did it in very good style, beat Double Time, who's been a double winner since then, and looks a horse of promise going forward. Then it finished second on the second day, just beaten by Just Holler. And then last time at Rangiora, it just didn't really pan out. I think had to sit park, did a bit of work. He's a better horse than that, and he'd had a month between runs, so prepared to not roll the line through it, but certainly give him another chance. Tuapeka Lou from the strong Telfer and Cullen barn, built nicely to that win here back in December. He's had a couple of trials since then, took over trials, 3-year-old by Sweet Lou, not the worst in this. Better Be Sharp, never count him out, always goes great races, inside second row, needs some luck, but can be in it. And Steph's Boy is the winner of 4 races. I would think that this is right up his alley too, and he gets a barrier draw to operate from, so it wouldn't surprise me if Blair Orange is pretty aggressive with him early, and he's a definite chance too. 4, 5, 10 and 6. Yeah, pretty good night to have a bet though. I think if Time Up the Hill in race 8, number 9, turns up in the same sort of form, great bet. Life's a Beach is in the right race. I'll give her a very good chance coming out of that Group 1 race, and One Change in race number 6. I think it's a definite winning chance, particularly from behind the mobile. Yeah, I like One Change. But all in all, should be a good night. Emma, 5:14, we kick things off. We'll have Darrin back next week, which I'm sure will put a smile on your dial.
Definitely will, Greg.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks so much for your help with Addington News. Anything you need to know about Addington Raceway, go to addington.co.nz. We've got some really good racing coming up in March. Darrin and I will be back next week to profile that for you.